Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the very, very end of 2023. We're all a little older. I wish we could say we're wiser. Really not. But
Lessons have been
this is
learned.
a time of reflection.
Yeah.
Many lessons have been learned. And it's a time to look back and look forward, kind of this restart of everything, heading into the new year, new eras for tech, new eras for Apple. How are you guys feeling about this year?
Ooh.
I'm just happy that we could finally record a tech podcast. Apologies to everyone. We've been trying. I think the nice theme for 2023, at least for this podcast, is just delays and cancellations slash just life getting in the way in good ways and bad ways. And specifically, this year there's a whole lot of traveling for all of us, and so it's turned into, instead of having like aspirationally about 50, maybe 40 podcasts out, we got to about 35 podcasts, I think, this year. This would be, I think, 36 that we're recording right now. So a little bit light on the podcast, but in terms of what the Tailors of Tech podcast account has uploaded every year. But we made it. We made it to the end, which I think is an accomplishment. And we
But
also
not
are not
light
all
in
rocking the same phone.
quality. We still
Yeah.
have each other. Yeah. I didn't even know that y'all were trying to. I was in Disney World last week, so I had no.
We should figure out who traveled the most this year.
I think you did.
This would be a good time.
Oh no, yeah. I mean,
Mike's
Mike's been gone the longest, but Drew was the furthest.
He was away from home, but miles traveled. I might have y'all beat.
I mean, we'd have to compare notes later, but mine's in the hundreds of thousands at least. Not hundreds, tens of thousands, not
Hundreds
hundreds.
of thousands of.
Yeah, I did some
I was like,
orbital
where did you
transfers.
drive?
I took a ride
I
on.
know you went around the country.
I ended
but
up grabbing a ride
I
on the
went to
Falcon
Thailand,
9
bro.
when I was in Florida, and then did a lap around the Earth, and then decided to
Yeah.
drive home after that.
Wait, so all three of us went to Florida at different times this year?
Yeah.
I went twice. I went down
You went
after
twice.
you went, Drew. Then I immediately went right after you the first time.
I inspired you.
You
Right.
you inspired the big family reunion trip that we had planned all year. Yeah, that was on you. That was you. And
That's
then I went
Yeah.
again, and some of the family members I saw, on a statistical level, I've only seen them 100% of the time in Florida because I met up with some fam. Like, I was like, it is a small world after all. I bumped into my wife's step brother and his new family, and I was like, what are you guys doing here? It's like, we have a 4-day pass. We have a 4-day pass. It's like, yeah, we're only here from here to here. That's when we came in. So that was weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like they're not
But-
stalking you or something.
Yeah. But
I think I switched phones the most this year.
Oh,
Any
you get the
prior
award for
year.
that.
for doing
You
for
win
doing
all.
awards.
We don't have like a
Tech awards.
MKBHD award system or anything like that, but I guess, I don't know. Does this count as an award now that it's like legacy equipment, being the MagSafe Duo that I'm holding in my hand? Is this the Tailors of Tech award?
I already have that one.
Well, there you go. Does Randy have it?
Yeah.
Cool. So we all have an award. So sweet. We all have our participation awards. So no one's sad.
Woo!
Awesome.
Woo! Most
Uh,
phones.
Who spent the most?
Oh, Randy did.
Well, on Apple products, I guess I should
Oh.
say.
Yeah, probably not me.
Randy?
I think still Randy.
I think Randy. Yeah.
Mm.
Even though I bought a
Maybe.
MacBook Air, I think you still beat me.
The studio display.
We have this. Oh, okay. Studio display peripherals for it. So like the Belkin mount, things like that.
Mhm.
iPhones. I bought. I spent the money and I bought. I don't think I've actually ever said this on podcast. I don't even think you guys know this, but so I bought my wife's phone, her iPhone, and I bought my dad an iPhone, and I couldn't get anybody.
Oh.
Funny enough, I couldn't get anybody to like, hey, who wants to adopt my 13 mini, and
Mm,
nothing.
taking the Drew approach.
Nobody wanted it. And I was like, at this point, I was like, well, anyone take it for free? And they're like, I kind of want a bigger screen. I'm like, no, no, you don't. Stop lying. Um, so I
Dang it.
guess I hold the award for most iPhones in my possession right now. 15, 15 Pro, 13 mini, 13 Pro off put away. And I guess if we're still counting like functioning phones, I got two 5S's that I'll never get rid of for, you know,
Ooh,
memorabilia. So
I've got some non-functioning tech I could compete with, but that's okay. I'll give you the
your
award.
your Macintosh doesn't count. That's not fair.
No, I have a big box of old iPhones that don't work.
That also
Interesting.
isn't fair.
I was gonna add that I have an
Yeah, that's
11
fair.
Pro and a 5S, and both are functional. It's just I don't use them, though.
Is it is it safe to
Yeah.
say that we screw the pooch on this about trying to be more minimalistic with our smartphones or tech or whatever? Because I do not regret getting the iPhone 15. In fact, I would go as far as to even say I would encourage anybody, if they are thinking about it and that means they're on the fence, I would make every case I could to push them to the 15, whether they need it or not. If they're on a 14, I would say get the 15. I love the phone that much.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
I've kind of, not only that, I've come full 4 year, 5 year. Oh my gosh, I come a full 5 year cycle on like fully embracing and loving my iPad Pro again. Like it's my most used product in the house. It's been a
Hmm.
weird year.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Right now?
Yeah. Right now, as we speak, I have that sucker out and it's docked on the keyboard. It is my
Wow.
most used Apple product when I'm in the home. Yeah.
That's weird.
It is
We
showing its
have
age
come
though,
full
but
circle then.
we have gone full circle. I'm like, heck yeah, this thing is awesome. I'm all about it now.
I use
Just for
mine.
signatures?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say I use mine every night just to read and or jot
Mm.
down a few notes or something like that. But you're actually doing a bunch of signatures, and I mean it's also the baby monitor and all that, and many other. No,
I have started a new passion project, a hobby, if you will, of just let's see what I can do with it. I'm never been a good drawer of an artist,
mm,
but I am I've been dabbling with 3D rendering
hmm.
or
Oh,
3D modeling,
interesting.
I should say.
Are you using
Um,
Shaper 3D?
Hmm.
I yes.
Okay, so you're only allowed
So
like a couple
Interesting.
projects, and they can
I
only be a certain
am
size.
I've downloaded a lot of different applications that I'm like trying out for scaling
Randy's
purposes.
renders. I can see it now.
There we go. Instead of the
Yeah,
Tesla, what was your the what was your the Tesla channel that you had? I've already
me?
forgotten about it.
Experience?
Yeah, was it the Randy experience? The Tesla experience? Was it the
No, the
Tesla experience?
Tesla
I feel like
experience.
that's a account on Twitter.
That is the Randy experience. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, the Tesla experience. Whoa.
It was? Okay. Huh.
Yes, Tesla experience is the one with Tesla.
Someone was inspired
Yeah.
and created that
Yeah.
account.
But now you
Yes.
just have a new channel to funnel all of your creative
Oh,
ideas
no, no,
and
no. Right? It is. It's like if somebody was trying to play the piano who's never played the piano before, and like
Mhm.
it's not ready for. I would not publicize any. I'm telling you guys what I'm doing, but I'm not showing you for obvious. It's terrible, but I am dabbling in it because I'm seeing what what will come for that if I'm trying to model something. Maybe if I want a miniature print of something. There are things that I'm trying my hand at. So and
Mhm.
I've relied
The audio
heavily.
listeners will have no idea if I put your renders up on the screen right now. Oh
Wow,
my God,
he's leaking it right
Randy,
now.
that looks awful.
Wow,
Oh,
it's so bad
why
it's
would you make
good.
that?
I could fit at least 12 penguins in here.
It's like a dog with the tongue on its side, but so it's now cute. That's me.
I could never imagine that shape until I just saw it.
Randy invented a new
Dang, those
shape.
audio guys are missing out.
I invented a new shape.
Dang. A Randagon.
Oh,
Whatever
it's
that is. I
oddly
would do the opposite, Randy,
proportioned.
though. If I were
Hmm.
to do a new skill and I wanted to document all that, I would upload it all the time. Like
Oh no.
instead of uploading like the finished product per se, I would just be like, all right, let's throw Michael in a
You go.
novice state
Oh
at
no.
whatever, whether it's
Oh no.
learning the piano or learning how to do VR
I
or
would
learning how
rather
to
show
tie a
you
bunch of different
guys.
knots.
I would rather document.
Do VR.
I would rather show you guys me doing terrible push-ups and sit-ups and me trying to lose weight for an X amount of time. I would rather do that and show the most insecure parts of my body before I would
Sounds
show you
familiar.
how insecure I am about my art. It is not like that
I'd
is
love to see your insecurities. That'd be
that
great.
is somewhat uncomfortable. Ay.
Marvelous.
Hey, the point is, iPad
Yeah,
Pro has become the new thing, and I'm like, I'm here for it. And what a time to get
that's
re-inspired
fascinating.
again, because like rumored new designed iPads or something. I'm like, am I being set up for something else now? I don't know, but that's for 2024, Randy, to figure out.
It's the most magical
I'll
time of the year.
admit I've accepted defeat on iPad, basically. I'm not gonna
Again,
Someone commented the other day, stop asking it to run macOS, and I was like, I have. That's why I sold the freaking thing. It's gone. I don't use one anymore.
keep buried in
My
the
wife
back of his
has one.
house.
It's in airplane mode at all times. She only reads books on it. That's all she uses her iPad for. She doesn't want it to be connected to the internet or anything. It's just a big fancy e-reader with ProMotion, and I've accepted we're not going to get the dream, laptop tablet 2-in-1 that I wanted. So I've accepted
It's called
it
the
is an
Surface Pro.
expensive, fancy toy that's running Windows. I can't do anything on that. But iPad's just going to be iPad, and I've accepted it's not for me. That's okay. It's for others. It's for Randagon rendering, whatever Randy's doing late at
Randagon.
night.
That should be the
And
channel name. Randagon Rendering.
I have no shortage of names.
He said
I have
words
a
to
lot
me
of
off camera.
experiences with. Yeah, I have a lot of experience with creating new YouTube channels. Not continuing them, but creating
Oh
them
yeah,
is very.
that was an addiction of yours. I'm sure you.
I think that's
I'm
something that
scaling back
you've
for
improved on that
2024.
though, Drew, for 2023. You've shut down a lot of the channels. They
You've
have
shut down more than you've
Most of
created.
them, actually. Yeah,
closed for businesses
pretty much.
posted on most of them, basically.
It's time to move on from that dream, and I'm just trying to focus more on essentialism, as Randy calls it, is introduced to me. So, in some ways, I'm a hypocrite. In other ways, I've doubled down. For instance, at the start of the year, I switched from a 13 Pro Max to a 10. Now, you could say hypocrite because I'm on a 15 Pro. However, in the pursuit of making sure that every product serves an absolute necessary function, there's no more watch. I don't miss it. I have no intentions to go back to the watch. There's no more tablet. Unlike Randy, I haven't found a deep hidden passion for rendering. Mike's the only Apple Watch user on this podcast
Don't
now.
know
I
how
didn't
that
think I would
happened,
be saying that.
but it happened. And
That is a
this thing
weird turn of
dies
events.
before 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. every day. So
Oof.
it's getting there
You're
in
ready
terms of
for
age.
a Ultra or something, or no watch. Maybe that's what.
I like having a
Someone
watch.
should have a
Was it
watch.
the other day I found that I use the calculator app a bunch. So it'd be nice just to have it
Mm.
like what the Casio watches were. I'd like to have that type of watch face for the Apple watches where it's just always a calculator on there and then maybe it shows the time on the side or something like that. But
There you go.
otherwise, yeah, the watch as it is right now, it works for what it needs to be, but it's laying me down at the end of every day when it's vibrating my wrist saying you've only got 10% battery left and it's like it's only 5 o'clock. I still have at least 4 more
Yeah.
hours of play, quote unquote, or at least doing something else and needing a watch. So
That's kind of the
crossing
end
fingers.
of. That's the sign.
Yeah.
That's kind of the end. If a watch cannot even tell the time after a single day, that's
It's no
makes it a lot
watch.
harder to justify.
Yeah. Do you
I don't even
find
do much on
yourself
it.
Now it's just kind of there.
with your whole? I found your journey very interesting this year, Drew, with your iPhones and your
Thank you.
dark time of Pixel. I blocked it
We
out. I
don't
don't even
talk
know how
about
long.
May not be
I don't
over.
even know how long you've had it. It's like it's. I can't wait to talk to Frankie. He's gonna be my best friend. We're gonna have so much to agree on. We have so much.
Frankie is just based on Randy.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. Anyway, but my question is, out of the each time let's actually in lifetime let's recount this. You started with the 13 Pro Max, went to an iPhone 10.
Yep.
From iPhone 10, you went to iPhone SE.
Hmm.
From iPhone SE, you went to iPhone 11,
Yep.
and from 11 to Pixel,
Yeah, for a little while.
and then
Yep.
Pixel to 15,
Regular 15. Yep.
and 15 to back to the 11,
Yes.
and 11 to 15 Pro.
Correct.
Okay, damn, I'm good.
You missed the
Good
12.
job.
You somehow skipped over the 12 entirely
good
that whole
memory.
journey.
There was no 12.
There was no
What
12.
are you talking about?
So, out of each time you transitioned to the different phone, which one for you was the most impactful that you were like, oh wait, hang on a second, and it is an open ended to however you interpret that. So it could be from, oh, I got subject lift again, or it could be the battery or
Mm.
camera. It could be operating system. It could be USB C. However you interpret my question on that, what was the most impactful for you when you were like, hey, this made you rethink something about something, or you're like, or maybe it validated something you're already feeling. What transition from what to what did you have that moment?
Probably the first one. Because that was my first ever switch from flagship to very old phone. Man, they're loud. I'm sorry.
Is that you?
Um,
Oh, I thought you were hungry.
no,
That sounded like your stomach.
someone loves their combustion engine. Yeah, I'm just hungry.
Ugh.
No, that was going from year after year, always upgrading, or at least, if not upgrading, sticking with a max, sticking with a high end, best of the best, whatever. And then it was finally admitting, I don't think I need that. I think that's overkill. I need to rethink what I use my phone for. And then the 10 was like 6 year downgrade. Probably never do that again. Like that many generations backwards. That's probably going to be a one time thing. But it was eye opening for the comfort of like, okay, I realized how much better. I really like the rounded design and the size. I really appreciate that form factor. Um, and really, the eye opening experience after a few months was okay, the biggest annoyance that I'm missing out on with the 10 was not really anything in regards to hardware, it was software. I was
Yeah.
missing out on subject lift and live text, which were, you know, left out from the iPhone 10. You could probably argue there was some way they could have brought it in some limited fashion. But it made me realize that, okay, the hardware's very much not changed all that regularly over all these years. I'm still using the phone the same way. You're still swiping up, and it's still full screen, still thin bezeled, and that was pretty eye opening. And uh, realizing that software exclusives might be more of the future than actual I need new hardware for such and such reason. That was kind of eye opening, and also you could argue the most impactful because the living with iPhone 10 video was the best performing video of the year.
Hey,
Outperformed all the 15 leaks, all the
hey.
15 rumors, the announcements. The top video was living with a 6-year-old iPhone.
It goes to show you how impactful the actual release of iPhone 10 was back then to it still hold its merits all these years later. Whereas
Yeah,
in comparison, in contrast to the 15, where people are like, it's a it's an incremental upgrade. It's nothing. Even if all the leaks are to be true, it's not as wowing as going from iPhone 7 to iPhone 10, and that
for sure.
speaks more volume
It
too.
was a nice send off.
Yeah.
It was a nice send off this year. I'm glad I switched to it even for a little while. I have no intentions to go back now that, oh man, having Type C when you're traveling, so useful, so handy when
Yeah.
when you just have to pack light and you just need one cable. And there were so many times I was switching between Mac phone, Mac phone, Mac phone, charging things, or charging the phone with the Mac and not having to fumble around. Where's the lightning cable? Where's the lightning? Just Type C everything. That's been so handy to the point now where I'm no longer interested in going back. I'm not against downgrading. I just don't want to downgrade to a Lightning phone. And it just so happens right now any kind of downgrade is going to be to a Lightning
Well,
iPhone.
your
Plus,
downgrade would go from
So
15 Pro to a back to a 15.
that's what I'm still the most split on, that I still quite can't
Drew,
make my
let me
mind
make
up
my
on.
case then. Because I've made up my
Okay.
mind. And I say this with love. I can't wait to turn this in and go back to the 15. I'm gonna write it out
Interesting.
into the new year, but I've long since made up my mind. I've I know how I know what the strengths are of any smartphone, to include camera,
Mm,
battery performance, and all that, and its limitations. And I think maybe even more importantly than all of that, what's the value would hold value being subjective comparatively to the dollar, which is a set price. That it's not the value of a dollar is what it is, and I I appreciate everything that the 15 Pro does, to even to the point of having an autofocus of the ultra wide. But when it comes, I've now lived with the phone for over a month. Is it now? I don't. It's been a while. Um, the thing that I look for and what I use in all things, just period for it. Uh, the iPhone 15. The reason why I would be such an advocate to even promote bad habits of, like, if you're on the fence, get the iPhone 15, or I don't care what your backstory is, just get the 15, is because this is the first time in Apple's history since the launch of iPhone that the base model something like it hit. It's a 12 out of 10. I'm giving bonus points to it
why
for
not a
everything that
15
it's
out of
done.
10?
Ha
yeah,
ha! It's
that's
a
it.
15 out of 10.
That would have been.
All right. All right. We're gonna edit that in post, and I'm gonna say it again like a ninja. It's a 15 out of 10. I'm so glad I came up with that on the spot, and Mike didn't say anything. It's I
Good job.
the main camera sensor for it, and we're just talking cameras for a second because it's the most noticeable. Um, I've done so many side by side filming on from pro from log to the what the standard filming codecs would be for iPhone 15 regular.
HEVC.
That's the one.
Hmm.
Side by side, I'm filming things. I feel like I've gotten pretty good at even at editing log now, and
Wow.
um, I don't like it. That's I don't care to do. I don't like doing it. I don't care that I can add my own
I
flavor
don't
and
like it.
make my own design. I think what impacts your cinematography more so than the color profile with these LUTs or whatever you would make, which by the way you can still manipulate on any of them. It's just manipulating color. Frame rate matters more. Composition matters more. Audio matters more. All that is so much more
Mhm.
impactful than am I a little bit sharper than what you would like. That part from what I've edited side by side on a smartphone is completely irrelevant in my opinion. If we're using dedicated cameras, whether it's Blackmagic or the actual camera, Blackmagic or Red or
Gone.
gone,
Reduced to atoms.
or we're talking a mirrorless camera like Sony or a DSLR like Nikon or whatever, um, then you can make your case because you have actual like $1,000 plus lenses and stuff. But doing it side by side, the only lens that impacts for me and that matters to me is the main lens. I don't use the telephoto lens. I don't use the ultra wide lens. When I do, it's because I'm purposely just playing with the UI of watching it swap just to see, can I notice when it clicks? Oh, yep, there it is. Every time I still notice it. Or I will use telephoto lens to zoom in when I'm trying to read a menu on something and it's too far away. So it's my magnifier. I'm like, oh, there it is. All right, and then I'm done. The only one that actually ever matters is the main lens, and then I will just go in
I
post
agree.
and crop as needed. 10 out of 10 times, it just works. I don't want to beat anymore about the camera sensor part because they're so good and there's nothing wrong with it. It's all about lighting, not the actual lens itself. Lighting trumps the lens. 2. The action button is the dumbest gimmick that I use every single day.
Ooh,
I have it mapped
interesting.
to the camera, and wherever I'm at
So
in
do I.
wherever I'm at in the phone. Oh, Sage is about to do something. My son's trying to. I hold it, capture it. It works. Thank you. Wham bam. Thank
I
you,
use it a
ma'am.
lot too.
And I send it on its
I'll
way
admit. Yeah, I use it way more than I thought I would.
every day.
That
It's
was one of
it's
those
daily.
things that I thought was stupid and I didn't want, and now that I have, it's like, okay, that's actually pretty handy. That keeps coming up
Well, then you can get
routinely. I
the
was like, boom.
SE4 when it comes out. That'll be your next best camera then.
Well, I know where Randy stands. I want to know where Mike stands. Do you think I should downgrade to a regular 15 or keep the Pro?
Keep the Pro. You've already, I think you've made the case for the fact that you've sold off the Black Magic and you need somewhat good
Hmm.
quality for your business. And also, it's got a whole bunch of features like the action button that you like using and all that. And you already got a profit off of it, anyways. Why do you need to get another profit off of it after that when you're already enjoying the product that you have right now? I think the 15 Pro is one that I would get if I had a whole bunch of money. I felt like upgrading, even with my scratched up 14 and everything that I didn't put a screen protector on and immediately dropped. Uh, Still salty about it.
Hey, be nice to my friend Mike, okay? You don't need to be so abusive towards.
What?
You're just like dogpiling on yourself.
I could do more.
Uh,
But what I'm getting at is that enjoy what you got because I think the 15 Pro is a special tech product that should be cherished because it's the first Pro USB-C iPhone and it's got a bunch of features that you enjoy. And along with that, it's got, in my opinion, a nice finish from what I've felt from yours, and then also in Apple stores. I enjoy it. I know that you're not a fan of it, Randy, as you shake your head. But from my experience, titanium is nice. It doesn't have to be the best material. It doesn't have to be the most successful material, but it is the
Or
material
the
that's getting the
lightest.
job done. Doesn't have to be either. But I mean, if we're going for lightest, I would say bring back the plastic and the 5C. Those had the best colors ever that I've seen in iPhones, in my opinion. So let's just bring
Hmm,
back plastic, but maybe put in some carbon fiber
there
weave
was
to
no
it,
red.
since carbon fiber seems to be getting a little bit more cheaper to use. Let's just throw that in for chassis and get all the wonderful colors as a coating for that. But long story short, I think you should keep it. It's a nice phone and it does all the things that you need and you don't need to keep on switching phone. I think that maybe should be your 2024 goal or anything like that. Yeah,
Resolution.
resolution. How many phones can you not switch to, or like what's the least amount of phones you can switch to? And if you keep
I
it at
disagree with
one, I
that
think you
too.
win a
Okay.
grand prize. Okay.
Gotta switch. You gotta switch even more next year.
How is that possible?
iPhone
Okay, should
SE4.
we?
Just hit
What
all the
counts
other
as
ones.
switching? If I review a phone, does that count as switching?
Yes.
Randy
Even
counted the
if I have
Pixel
no
as switching.
intention on keeping it?
So I would say you
Because he wanted
intentionally
to keep
switched.
it. He was
I
on.
was on the fence about the Pixel.
He
There was a chance I was
he
gonna keep
wanted
it,
it.
but
He was gonna keep it unless, by keep I mean he wanted the phone for free. So the point is, re- somebody's paying for it,
that's
and
true.
he would have kept it had Google said, "Here you go, Pixel Boy," or whatever the thing is.
I don't
Hashtag.
think you'll beat your record though this year, Drew, because you were intentionally trying to be frugal with the tech and you were actively trying to go back. And it just so
Which is why
happened
you
a
should get
lot
the
of
base
options.
15. How
That's
amazing is frugal?
I mean, I like where your head is at because I loved that regular 15 when I had it. That was a fantastic phone. I loved how it was lighter than the Pro, which I appreciated. I loved the aluminum finish, and the camera was great. It was a fantastic phone, which is why I'm so split on this. Um, a downside though of switching to the 15 is unlike all of the other phones I switched to, I don't really get another video out of that. It's just like I'm back.
You don't need us to make a
Again.
video for
he's
it. This is for
back.
you. This isn't for them. This is for
Just
you.
for me.
And
Okay, I'll let you both know what I'm most split on because you're both bringing up things that don't matter in my opinion. But the biggest
Thanks.
I was
You're all-
avoiding USB-C on purpose.
No, you were saying like you don't use those other lenses, and I'm like, I know that's not why I'm torn. And you were saying titanium's nice, and I'm like, I don't care about that. My big trifecta, my big dilemma, is the Pro worth it over the non-Pro? Is action button, USB-C transfer speed, and the chip. It's those three things.
Hmm.
Nope,
Like the
nope,
chip
nope.
is better, it's newer, and longevity wise, I've run into situations where I find a phone that I really like and then Apple software locks it out of features that I really want to try. That happened earlier this year with the 10. And I think the 15s in particular are going to age really well because they're the first iPhones with Type C. And I'm of the belief that Type C is going to be on the iPhone longer than Lightning was. I think this is now that
It's the final port.
it's the final port. There's so many governments that are enforcing it. India's trying to pass a law that's even more strict than the EU, which I was shocked to see, but I kind of loved it. They were like, you have to change older products to Type C. And
That's ridiculous.
Tim Cook was like doing the Andre the Giant gif. He's like, oh, what? You know, he's trying to get him to slow down. The EU is just
Good
like, oh, new
morning.
products. Good morning. And I was like, ooh, I love how aggressive that is. And it made me open to, oh, if that law passed, Apple would have to make a USB-C iPhone 13. And I kind of love that idea. But I think
13
that with all
mini
this, well,
with
they stopped
USB-C.
making those. So
Oh,
I
Mike,
would
don't
love a
play with
13
me.
mini with Type C.
Don't play with me like that.
That's what would happen.
But they just killed it off, I think. So it's
Oh.
no longer sold. So
Well, never mind.
Before you tell me
I
your
give up on that.
trifecta in more detail, Drew, I'm going to just put the cards on the table and be very honest with you. The reason why I want you to go back to the
All right.
15 is because Randy regrets not getting blue.
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 Wait. Oh, you mean white? Got it.
No.
Cool.
Blue.
Blue.
It's not white, Drew.
That was a nice color.
I saw it out in the wild when I was at Disney. I was like,
Of course, you saw it at Disney.
it's beautiful. I
That is a gorgeous color.
instantly was like, oh no, it's hot because it's cool. I
Yeah.
I saw genuine euphoric happiness on your face when you had the 15 regular that you didn't have with the 15 Pro. You're like, yeah, it came to me out of a technicality because my buddy needed a camera, and that it was a purchase of convenience. And when you talk about the trifecta, the action button, if what you're talking about is having a mappable button, if it's camera, we have 4 ways to get to the camera app now. It's fine. I promise. We've been okay.
I know, but this is really, and I hate that ringer switch. I always have.
I
never
know.
liked the ringer switch.
I agree with you, but we can also map I've seen people get weird with the dynamic island being a multifunctional thing now. How is that a
It's
thing?
great. You can turn on and off the flashlight with that thing as well.
Yes, you can.
Why does that only work on the Pro?
I don't know.
Software locking.
doesn't.
Again,
Well, no.
another reason to keep it.
Yeah, when you do the flashlight on the Pro, it pops up with this.
Isn't that on the 15?
Island.
That's on the 15 regular.
Try it.
I
Do you
can't. I'm
have one?
filming.
Well, when I had the regular 15, it would not do that. I saw everybody tweeting about it, and then I tried it, and I was like, it's not working on the. You need a pro flashlight.
Test
It's
iPhone
not pro
15
enough.
uh flashlight. Uh
Are you googling it? Nobody's
dynamic
No, he's making a mental note and all that.
island.
Oh.
Okay. I'll take a look. That's cool. Now, no, because the action button
That's the real reason I'm keeping
It's
the
the
pro.
Flashlight, dynamic island widget.
yeah, the
The
dynamic
data transfer speed is a bigger thing.
but data transfer speed, I feel like let's address the context of this then. We've already acknowledged no more committing to I'm going to stick with this phone for 17 years and then that will be
no, I'm not doing that.
which means we know a better USB-C 3.1 dot whatever down the road inevitably will be pushed to a pro or maybe even a base model, giving us faster transfer speeds that I feel whereas the 15 got everything and then some, I still feel like the pros this year got held back to incentivize a 16 Pro next year. I don't feel like we were given the same Christmas morning Macaulay Culkin Home Alone 2. Kevin! We didn't get that for the pros. We got some things, but for the 15 base model, you spent $937 on rims to it.
I hate this family.
We didn't
and I
get
hate
that
you.
for the
It's
pros.
that season.
But we did get everything and then some for the regular 15s. And I feel like the next big, for lack of a better word, like throw them a bone for the pros, or maybe even the base model, will be addressing the data speeds, or even I would argue if there's some magical new, not redesign UI, but we can do more with the USB-C port that pushes us to be like we're getting DeX equivalent, you know? If iPad Pro is supposed to be closer to the Mac, then iOS theoretically is closer to iPad OS, which is plugging into USB-C and mirroring your display, or maybe it becomes something more. I feel like we haven't unlocked the full potential of proper USB-C. So, and even to include Thunderbolt. But I don't know if data transfer speeds alone. You're not the breaking news guy, and if you are breaking news, Drew, you're not putting up YouTube videos. You're making a tweet about it. So I don't think transfer data speeds is as critical as it should be, given we're never going to be first to anything. We're just the loudest to something. So
It's not about being first for me. It's more of a efficiency focus. It's more of like the less time I spend at work. Mike did not like that. The more time I spend working, the more time I'm away from, family, or, it's I don't want to waste my time basically, and I like being able to plug in the phone, move the footage onto the computer really quickly just so I can, how much I hate editing.
yeah.
This is part of the editing process. So that I like the concept of being done faster, and in the event that I do end up keeping this longer than 1 year. I'm not committing to that. I'm just saying it's a possibility that I'll hold on to it. I might not upgrade next year. However, it's a possibility. I'm not ruling anything out. The first good iPhone 16 rumor came out last week. I don't know if you caught it, but
What is good in this case? Is it like blue? Good? With so
Screw
many
you,
quotes
Mike.
surrounding it.
Blue iPhone is bay. How dare you?
It was good for me because they said that the microphones should get substantially better.
Oh, so it's the
That
thing
is
that we
good.
talked about last year? About this is what iPhone needs.
So I was like, okay, right now I use my Zoom mic with the iPhone, and that's kind of my current happy setup. And if they found a way to replace it, so now I don't even have to pack my microphone and I can just use the onboard mic, that simplifies the ecosystem even further. Now I don't even have to plug anything in. I could just hit record, and it uses the same kind of microphones and voice isolation that my MacBook uses for these podcasts
With
and
machine
stuff.
learning and ooh.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah,
baby.
all
Ooh.
the neural cores
Ooh,
on
big.
What we can do
all
with our
firing on all
AirPods, we can
cylinders.
now do with the iPhone, where it's able to just isolate everything while you're in the middle of a construction equipment zone
These
for some reason.
are the best iPhones we've ever made. Yeah.
Yeah, if they did that,
Why
I
did
could
he
see a
turn
situation
southern?
where I go, okay, I
Wow.
might be able to justify it. However, I don't want to go bigger. I already feel
Yes!
like I'm compromising because
Yes!
I loved the mini iPhone and I really wanted them to do a mini USB-C iPhone and we didn't get that, so 15 Pro is
I'm
the
taking
next
my
best
wins,
thing.
buddy. You making me feel the Christmas came early. The
It's
mini
the
lives on in
smallest
our hearts.
USB-C iPhone.
Yeah.
It's the smallest USB-C iPhone, and all the rumors, which I believe personally, maybe we shouldn't believe this soon, but I think usually the display size leaks are pretty
Confirmed?
accurate. Not confirmed, but fairly reputable. Even the smaller 16 Pro is going to be 6.3 inches,
That's bigger.
and that's still too big.
Yeah.
I feel like this is too big, but at least the bezels are so thin that the form factor is actually very close to the 10.
I
And my
agree.
wife still has the 10 and I hold them next to each other. They're very close. I'm like, okay, it's a little bit bigger than the 10,
Drew.
but they rounded off the edges a little bit. So
Bezels. I'm so
I
glad you
want to
brought
go
up
big.
bezels. I every day, multiple times a day, and I have to be extremely. I'm going to show you the lock. I have accidental inputs on my phone because these bezels are too thin. Another reason why
Oh,
I
really?
I can't wait to get
That's
rid of this and go
interesting.
back to the 15. I I my meaty fatty palms just roll on over and
Big,
touch
meaty claws.
big meaty claws.
So you're saying that small
Uh,
bezels are bad for you?
I'm saying
I
there
have
is a
not
limit,
experienced this.
and I found the limit. Well, you don't got big meaty claws.
Oh,
So
come on.
I know,
There's
but
no issue there, folks.
believe me. um, I actually I've had so many in critical moments with photos, or like it swipes it's registering matey claws and it's moving my things
Like
over.
Gordon Ramsay.
Pooey, what is this? Absolutely terrible. Yeah, it's bad. I don't like the bezel size on the 15 Pros personally. Too much. I think for me, too much. I like a unified thicky boy like the iPad Pro 2018 model. Thank you very much. But I never had these issues with the old iPhone 11 and back up to 10. I'll actually go back to the iPhone 6 at that point. Anything that had that rolling off happening, I never had that issue. And I'm having issues with it now and it's bothering me. I'm like, I don't like you anymore. It's weird. You're not making my interaction with the device fun. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Hey, really quickly before
Okay.
we move on, your weakest argument about the chip. We all know there's headspace for days with these Apple silicon chips.
Oh, we all know, but that doesn't mean Apple's going to provide all the same
I know,
software
but the
features to
iPhone 15 is iPhone
both.
15. It's the same thing. You're not.
It
Yeah,
is the iPhone 15.
it's the 15. It's on A16, and I wouldn't be shocked if Apple later says only the A17 Pro is capable
You will
of blah blah
be
blah.
long upgraded by then. I am so confident.
You'll be
Maybe
long
not everybody.
downgraded by then.
You will not. I'm not saying you will upgrade this coming year. I don't know, but if you don't do it then, you absolutely by the 2 year mark will upgrade, whether it's a mid-cycle refresh or something comes along the way. Google sees your video and gives you that disgusting thing for a device. You will move on from the 15 by 2025. That much I do guarantee. That is a Randy Vasquez guarantee. Yep, that's what that is.
Don't know if I can cash that in for
Okay,
coins,
that's a good
but
argument.
I would say no. It's not
Mike
worth
will
it.
upgrade by then too. He's going to be on iPhone.
I am
He's getting an
upgrading it to 16 Pro.
You're going to get the iPhone SC4.
You think I'm gonna get the SE4?
Yes.
How much you want to bet?
Well, not if you're
And
gonna
why?
spite me, then no, I'm not gonna do it. But
I'm
you'll
not gonna spite you, but I'm curious about why you think I'm gonna go for the SE4 when I've never bought an SE phone. Except I
because
got an S, 5S, and then
yeah,
I went 11 Pro, and then
because
14
Mike,
Pro.
you and I, you and I are not so different. And whereas Drew might make his strongest case with data transfer speeds in his workflow, you and I are not crippled by our creations and we don't have a schedule. So now more than ever, iPhone 15 has proven that base model iPhones are, in fact, the pinnacle of like you could do everything on your base model phone and then some. Drew could do it too, but at what cost is what he's battling with, right? But you and I, we don't have to battle much. Less is more. And if I was in your shoes and I wasn't so trigger happy about the 15, I'd get the iPhone SE 4 because it has everything we need and then some. We're doing it right now. We got the thing happening with the cameras and we have more than enough headspace with battery, with OLED technology, with A chip efficiencies. Every app is going to be supported. It is technically going to be then the newest 2024. It's the design we've never seen before on a chassis that's iPhone 14, but everything about it will stand out. iPhone SE4 will have the same publicity that base iPhone 15 just got 2 months ago, and we're
Hmm.
here for it. Your wife needs to upgrade her phone, and unless she already got the 15, she would even get. Yeah, I'm. You
Still
guys are gonna
haven't.
get the. You're gonna get it. You guys are gonna get it, and I'm gonna support it
Okay.
because then I will try to find a way to join
I
you guys
think
on
my
that
only
journey.
caveat, or not, maybe not caveat, but the thing that would hook me in is maybe not exclusive colors, but striking colors for the
Mm.
SE. Something close to what the 5C had, or iPhones of the past that actually had more or less saturated, more saturated, more opaque colors. I like that. I like more opaque colors. I do not like this blue quote unquote business going on right now, or yellow, or red. I would much rather something that's more, how would I put it? Yeah, just more
You want more
basic.
vibrancy. You just want a vibrancy. iPhone SE has always had red, white, and black. Well, in modern times, we're not talking about the iPhone 5 design, but
Hmm.
they will. It's pretty certain. We're not only are we going to get a product red again, and I think we'll get that at the mid-cycle refresh for the iPhone 15s, an actual red, not pink but red. But then the iPhone SE4 is to have the same design language as the 14. 14 was all vibrant. Like those colors were all there. So they'll drop the
Hmm.
purple or what was the big color? Yellow. They'll drop one of them and it will be white, black, red, bare
That was
minimum.
like the news for a month.
Purple.
Remember
Yeah.
that?
What I don't like
Don't
about
get it.
this
Yeah.
is I was at the Apple store the other day because I was trying to see if Apple would fix some of the gashes in my MacBook Air, and of course they said no, unless I want to fork out $2,000 or something like that, which was a bummer. Uh, but as I was waiting, because I got there a little bit early, I was looking at all the new 15s. I guess new, quote unquote. I guess they're still new. 15s and all that. And then I saw a red iPhone from across the way. And I walked over to it and I picked it up and it was rounded and it had one camera lens on the back. And I looked at the plaque for what it was supposed to be and it was an SE. In which
I was gonna say that's
I
the
don't
only one that
like,
would be in the store right
yeah,
now.
how much you're in my head in regards to, wait a second, does Mike like the SE?
He
But
does.
I'm still not convinced entirely.
We're the same. No, you're not convinced because you need to see it. You don't want promises. You don't want rumors and speculations. You want the stats. And when you see that they bring the same bright red, that vibrant red that was on the 14 to the SE, you'll be like, oh, this isn't all that bad. We're the same, Mike. You want some colors? You want some flair in your little, accessory thing? I would have done it. Um, I don't think I can do it now. I think it's too late because of other life things happening. I don't think I can win that argument with the House and Senate.
I
But
hate that our outer life things are way too similar now. It's too ridiculous at this point. We are too much of the same person that
Yeah,
people
I have a type
kind of know. Yeah.
with my friends.
True. This echoes just on you, on who you
That's
seek
true.
out at this point. You
yeah.
all the
If you want
people
to be
that
on the
you've seen or
podcast,
talked to
you
or
know who to
visited in
act
the
like.
last like 2 or 3 weeks
You
has
gotta act like
something that
Trump if
me
you want to
and
be on the
Randy have
podcast.
going on. Uh,
Yeah.
I have not done that before, have I? Maybe once or twice, but uh, maybe remains to be seen. If Apple could sell me on it, then I may yield. But for now, I think my sights are still set on the 16 Pro because I like the fact that it's got 3 different lenses to be able to capture things close, things far, wide shots, or just a nice, more enhanced 1x, 2x, and 3x.
That's all baloney.
Okay. Well, I
Those
like
lenses
baloney.
are crap. That's true. It can be good. No, I would be much more inclined to get the regular 15 if it had a faster Type C port, an action button,
So if it was a
and
Pro.
that's really it.
Yes.
Those are the no. I don't. This telephoto lens I pretty much never use. The macro mode was making me go insane. I wanted
Yes.
to throw my phone at the wall. How often that stupid flower icon and people are like just press the icon, but it's constantly going on and off,
Yeah.
so you can't press it, and then you have to explain it to other people because I'm often handing the phone to my wife or to a family member for them taking the picture, and they don't realize if their finger's in the right place, then that stupid macro option pops up. So I found a way to turn that off permanently, which I'm thankful for, that there's a way to do that, and it was a bit more complicated than it should have been, but I just remember this was not a thing on the regular 15. You didn't have to go fix it in post. You could just hand someone the
And
phone
God
and they knew
forbid
what
you
to
go
do.
outside your default native camera app, other third part like Instagram or really any other like app that was Snapchat that you're using to. I've had this on
I'm not
FaceTime.
using them.
FaceTime did this. You can't tell it not to
Oh,
do that. It will
oh.
convert
Hmm.
all the.
This is why I think I said this before, but I would totally have bought a phone just like this with the same sensor if there was one lens,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Yeah.
Like it would look cleaner. The camera wobble would probably be less obnoxious. I really don't like this camera bump design. It's not great on the 15, and it's even worse on the 15 Pro. It sticks out so much, and I often use my phone on the flat table and everything, and I don't care about always on, Randy. I'm sorry.
This is the thing that I do like, and I can't wait to get rid of it. Like this is
I
what
love it. It needs to go.
like what I'm trying to say is that like when you look at a phone, yeah, this is how you could tell if it's a pro or not. And then the nightstand mode thing, I do use it. I like looking at it, and I could not care less. It's like promotion for me. I acknowledge it. I see it. I can.
I kind of that's how I feel about this camera arrangement on the back. I always see these triple camera bumps on the back of phones everywhere I go now. It's the longest running camera bump design. Even when it was first leaked, I hated it. When it came out, I said, okay, it looks a little bit better than the leak, but it's still stupid.
Everywhere I go, I see
I
his
And
remember that.
face.
I remember that.
I look at that like I see like one guy driving in a massive pickup truck with nothing in the bed, or not towing anything. I'm just like, you're hauling around all this extra crap for no reason. That's how I look at these lenses. I'm like, you don't use those. You're pinching and whatever. You're not gonna notice the difference in quality. You're probably taking selfies most of the time. It's just so overkill, and I hate being bunched in with that crowd. Like I feel like whenever I'm so what phone do you have? I'm like, well, I didn't really want this. I didn't need this. I
You
just
had to make
I was
excuses before you
reviewing
answer the
it, and
question. You're already justifying that. Just so you know, it was the
I'm
only one
holding it
left in
for
the
someone.
store. Yeah.
I'm like trying to justify it to people because usually I'm talking to people with older phones and I'm trying to reassure them that they don't need a new phone. Just because I have this, that doesn't mean it's a good purchase idea. So I would like to be able to hold the phone and use a phone that's like much cheaper than this, so I could feel better about rocking it and recommending it. But um, Mike is right. I am sick of switching phones. It's kind of been now I'm eSIM. That was another big change with this one.
Yeah.
Is
Mhm.
I finally bit the bullet on the eSIM. So
A
now
second
it's
time.
like this is going to be a pain in the butt to switch again. And
So
I
now he just
hate
has to
getting
wait
everything
until
set
everyone else
up
goes to
and
eSIM.
I hate that we're 2 years into this now, or 2 cycles in, I should say, and it literally wasted space. The eSIM for American phones.
yeah, it's not the same as a headphone jack.
No, like even where the criticisms, you can make a case, and I can find validity in someone's stance with that. This was the dumbest thing that has ever happened, and I hate that it has happened that way. But when I went to go move my phone number from the Pro to the base model, it looked like, oh, just like when I open up this phone, do you want to swap it? Yes. And it's just a simple, at least on T-Mobile, it's just a yes. In the settings,
Mm-hmm.
in the regular carrier portion of the settings of the iPhone, just yes, transfer, boom, done, and it can transfer it. Um, with that, it was a problem that didn't need to be fixed, and I don't like that it was force fed down our throats. And if anything, I know you
Because
had,
you know they can do it.
yeah,
It would be different. Imagine if the iPhone 7 in the US got rid of the headphone jack, but everywhere else it still had one.
no.
I'd be I'd be just as upset in that. I'd be like, what? What?
You mean everybody else can use
Why is
RCS,
this?
but we have to use SMS? You're just blocking things. Because I would hate that.
oh yeah.
Do you guys think
I
that's
don't know.
coming to
Do you want to
America?
open that can of worms?
RCS coming to the iPhone? Is that going to happen in the US, or is that mainly just a European thing?
No, that's pretty much only a US thing. Europe is all WhatsApp anyway. They don't
Okay.
I don't think they use SMS. Um,
RCS
but
is coming.
I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to open that can of worms of the whole beeper subject, or would you rather do best and the worst of 2023? Like,
Ooh.
what would you give
I,
your trophy to of like this was the biggest hit and the biggest miss?
Biggest
yeah,
miss beeper.
I'm
Why not both?
Okay, good segue.
perfect. I prefer we do the ranking. There's nothing to say about Beeper. It's the whole thing's I don't know. There's literally nothing to say. This is
And then he says
Spotify.
things.
Randy's been against this from the beginning, may I say.
Yeah.
He's never shifted his position.
Never
He's
have,
always
never
just been like,
will.
this is stupid. Buy your mom an iPhone.
Yeah.
Just
Buy your dad an iPhone as well.
This
He
is
did. He literally
Yeah.
bought his dad an iPhone.
I did. Right? It's like, no, we're not gonna play these games, these reindeer games. We are going to rectify.
Or Rudolph.
Yeah,
Playing all the RCS games.
that's right. We don't.
Or the iMessage games.
We don't need to play those games. The very short version. All I have to say is, Drew is right. I haven't changed my position. This is no different to me than Epic Games or Spotify going after Apple. This isn't fair. Like, dude, you're using
Did you see that
our
Epic won against Google as a monopoly?
as of
but not
today,
Apple?
right? I saw that news today.
I was like, oh, Google got a worse lawyer, I think, because it's the exact same situation, but they lost and Apple won.
I love it.
But there's no
Well,
difference.
Epic one, yeah.
They both have the same revenue cuts. Honestly, Google's probably more open and they allow more of the side loading stuff than Apple does.
Yeah.
And the court was like, no, I think Google's got a monopoly. Google's like,
What?
looked like Al Capone at the.
But
He punched the lawyer, right?
but Apple, they're like, no, don't worry about that. So yeah, that's all I have to
The
say
lawyer
about
was like, we'd like to enter a plea of guilty.
Okay.
best. That's lovely.
Sundars.
What? That's the same guy who hired Trump,
That was
or Trump
hilarious.
hired that team too, or something. Yeah, that guy. Every time I see Trump trending, he's getting sued for something. It's like, okay.
Sundar, you better call Saul because apparently you're a monopoly.
Did you know
and
you
he's
have
not.
rights? Well, the Constitution says you do. Oh man, Better Call Saul.
I missed that
All right,
show.
best and worst.
I would so watch that.
Go ahead,
Okay, I'll open
lead
it.
it.
I would
Yeah, lead
say,
it.
well, best product or feature or best what?
Ooh,
Anything. For
anything.
any reason,
Okay.
as long as it's in the tech field.
This came
Don't do
pretty
EV. We'll
late,
save that.
honestly, in the year, and I think I just enabled it in the second half of November. But the changing every hour lock screen has been something that I've been enjoying excruciatingly well, especially after the tens of thousands of miles that I drove and all the pictures that I took. Every single hour, my lock screen changes to something, and sometimes the time goes behind an object, sometimes it doesn't, and I really like
Yep.
that because it just,
I do the same.
yeah, it makes
always
it
changing.
so much more enjoyable as a product of me just checking the time. It's like, oh, that was when I was in Zion. Oh, that was when I was in Florida and all that. And it's
I need
beautiful
my
photos and all
one
that.
request is the little, just like the screensaver on tvOS. I need a little way to ask, where was this? When was this? Because sometimes I get pictures.
Standby mode does
I'm
that
like,
for you.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
What is standby mode?
Yeah, standby
You don't
mode.
remember when you plug in your
It
phone?
doesn't show a picture.
Well, then you have to
shows a
swipe
picture.
it. Swipe to it.
Yeah.
You'll get there. It's there. Because
Yeah,
mine is the.
it's like a little widget of a photo and then a widget of the time, and you can swipe to change it to whatever you want, per se. Per se? I keep on
I'm
saying that per se.
trying.
Thanks to whoever said per se, because I
Gonna
keep on
say.
using that wrong. But yeah, definitely that's my favorite feature is being able.
Take a shot every time Mike says per se. That's how you'd make
Someone's
a
gonna
Taylor
be
Swift feature.
really.
What seems to be the
inebriated
officer
by the end of this.
problem?
Yeah.
See,
So I would say that is
Uh,
definitely my favorite
per se.
feature slash thing that came out this year. A close second would
Interesting.
probably be my MacBook Air. I've been enjoying it wonderfully. It's been a great all-in-one for what I need to get done while I was traveling and all that. Worst? What would be the worst? Honestly, Apple Arcade probably.
Woo.
I was expecting to
wow.
be hooked as someone who enjoys video games and someone who was
Mhm.
thinking, oh, I'd be searching through all these games and it's going to take up all my time. No, I hooked on to one or two games and then that was it. And then once the free trial ended, I thought, okay, I'm not going to enable it. And there goes all the 3 months
Yeah.
of time that I was able to try other games. I just didn't need to. I stuck to Mini Motorways and Solitaire. And I didn't feel like branching out at all.
You didn't want to pay $7 a month for solitaire?
No, no.
Welcome to 2023.
My good, no.
Even solitaire is a membership. Solitaire Plus.
I play Sudoku and I get an ad every single time I finish all of one number, and it's a headache. But that's another
The future
topic.
is just like, let's play tic-tac-toe. But first, an ad from one of our sponsors.
Squarespace.
Brought to you by
Before
BetterHelp.
this bathroom stall opens,
Mhm.
you have to watch a quick 30-second
BetterHelp.
ad.
Are you losing to tic-tac-toe too often? Do you need to talk to somebody about that? Today's sponsor. Yeah,
Everything's a membership.
everything.
Yeah, you know what I've noticed? Apple's two best services, TV Plus and Music, like most popular services,
Mhm.
both are accessible on non-Apple hardware.
Coincidence?
iMessage for Android.
Coincidence?
I think that would do better than Arcade. I mean, anything is better than News Plus at this point. Even people with Apple hardware.
I can't
don't
believe
use
Apple
News
Card might get
Plus.
shut down before News Plus. That blows my. That should be a News Plus story.
You have to get News Plus to find out.
I
what happens to your
outlived
credit
the
card.
Apple Card.
I don't think they're gonna kill it.
I don't
I
think so.
hope
either.
not.
I think
Isn't City supposed to pick it up or
Um,
someone else?
No, we don't know yet.
I heard it was Chase.
Chase, that's what
I
it is.
see.
That's
That's
the
how we
running
know it's
rumor.
because I hear it. Amex, like nobody knows. It's all
I'll
in talks.
I can see the newsroom post now. They're gonna say, "Let's cut to the chase."
That's pretty good. I clap.
Thank you.
Please
Oh
clap.
my God.
I clap.
I got an
There you go,
approval.
Jeb.
He said, "Please
Finally.
clap."
Yeah, I don't think that.
Yeah,
I
I think
hope
Jeff
that
Bush
Apple Card
Amex,
doesn't
but
go away.
Amex is
I think it's been
I
a
think
great way for them to sell their products, or at least like get you into some sort of credit card deal. Is
it's been a
hey,
great way to bankrupt a bank.
well, that it's
The
kind
thing
They've
of the
lost so
about
end of
much
the world
money
as
on
we
it.
know it in terms of what the Apple Card is today. But that doesn't mean it's still going to be useful when they switch over. Hopefully, when either it goes to another company that they want to partner with or bank
Dave Ramsey's
to
rooting for
make the
this
Apple Card
one.
work.
Stupid.
That would be impressive. A
Stupid.
credit card even Dave Ramsey would recommend. Yeah. Like it's structured in a way that it's not profitable, which is why Apple's basically holding like a hot metal steel ball and they're asking which bank wants to hold it for them. And Goldman Sachs's hand has fallen off and their
There's
little
several
stub of
holes
a
through it.
wrist is on fire and they're screaming in the corner going, and Apple's got
What in
the
the
lead
Saw
gloves on.
Games trap are you like? This sounds
Drew
like
spent too much time in the Model 3.
he watched.
I'm trying to convey
He watched too many Jigsaw
I'm trying to
movies.
convey the pain because banks are just big, rotten, corrupt industry. So I'm trying to make it down to earth, understandable for a bank picking up the Apple Card is basically like, sure, I'll hold that molten hot steel. Sure, let's see if I can take it.
The whole
And
this is
basically,
fine.
yeah.
Everything's on fire.
And Amex is like, could I dump some water on the steel ball? And Apple's like, no, Chase. And Chase is like, I'll put on some latex gloves and that'll help.
Latex.
But basically, anyone who accepts the Apple Card after this, I am going to say is a stupid bank. Unless they drastically redesign the reward system.
It's definitely going to be
Wow.
renegotiated, which is why I say it's basically the end of the Apple Card as we know it for right now.
I just
What if they made it paid only?
no. Like wait, like a
I don't
membership,
want any
like
more
an annual
subscriptions.
fee.
They're like, in order to keep these rewards, it has to become. Someone suggested this in my stream. They say it turns into like a $100 a year fee, but you get Apple Care Plus with any Apple product you buy for free. So it kind of pays for itself.
Are we trying to re-engineer an annual fee to a credit card?
Well, that's not a new thing.
I know, but like, that felt like a long way of like trying because the annual fees. There has to be more perks to the Apple Card to justify the annual fee.
Yeah, that would be the Apple Care thing. They add in.
That doesn't have anything to do with
It's
the Apple
Apple
Card.
themed. Of course it does. You buy Apple products with the Apple Card. You get a better price on the Apple Care and you get the 3% off. They can't just leave it the same because that's not working, right? Everybody just loses billions, whoever holds it. Apple becomes a bank. That would
Well,
be
then they would lose the money,
too
don't
much.
they?
Yeah, they don't want to do that. They want someone else to lose the money.
They want someone else to lose their money.
Apple structured this so well, I must say. Like, hats off to whoever wrote the Apple Card contract and tricked someone at Goldman Sachs into signing it. Like, they deserve a raise because Apple doesn't have to carry any of the liability. They just get a cool credit card.
You're
and
a
they
monster.
Just slaughter this. They just slaughter banks in the process.
Well,
That's Randy's Goldman Sachs impression.
I think I don't have a we'll have to discuss this next season because I don't have a solution. I need to see how this pans out.
Series.
Okay,
We'll talk about that next year.
next year. Yeah. As for best and worst,
That was cool.
best
What the heck?
best and worst. What was that?
Drew's whole background went yellow.
The blue light changed to yellow, and it has never done that in 3 years, and it suddenly just did that. That is the freakiest thing I've ever seen. Wow.
That is
Okay.
Drew just upgraded to Ghost Plus for a subscription.
We just saw a leak where Drew is changing his color art on tech to yellow, and it prematurely
No.
leaked.
Nikias has got that. I can't take that.
And you
Nikias owns the color yellow.
don't you dare touch green.
That's his thing. That's your color.
That's my color.
I get a couple colors because of my channels, but no, I think we need to figure out Randy's best and worst. That's why I'm getting ads for the Apple Card in my inbox right now.
Because they can
Great.
hear you talking about it. Isn't that weird? Okay. Best and worst. The
light bulb that's listening.
It's on switching your ads.
The light bulb can hear us. Let's move into the other room.
Thanks, Google.
Grandma turning off all the lights.
They can't hear us when they're off.
Turn off your lights, or otherwise they can hear us. Oh, she's gone senile.
That's not her. That's us.
That's me. It's like,
Oh my
hey,
God.
turn down the music. I can't see. That's how I feel when I'm driving. Like, that's me driving.
That's hilarious. It just reminds me of this line. We were just watching Psych today, and there's this
But that's a great
line
show.
that stuck with me for. It is a great show,
Yeah.
and there's this scene where Sean and Gus open the door, and the butler goes, "You're a half hour early," and Gus goes, "We were stuck in traffic." And that line has stuck with me. I can't get it out of my head. I'm like, was that an intentional joke? Or did they just write it wrong? You're a half hour early. We got stuck.
Yes. The answer is yes to both those things.
Is the iPhone 15 your best of the year, Randy? I think that's what I'm
yeah,
hearing.
absolutely. Yeah, no. You guys know what the best is. It's what the worst is. iPhone 15 series. Listen, I'm not trying to poop on the Pro. It's just the 15 is a literal better bang for your buck, and 15 has everything that everybody needs to get by for their day to day. Pros, you know if you need a Pro at the end of the day. So if you know you need the Pro,
I don't.
and a lot of people don't, but like, it's your money. Do what you gotta do. Like, I'm not gonna. When the highlighted feature is titanium, and that's what we gotta use to market the 15 Pro, that shows you how much we're not really getting that much of an umph from 14 Pro to 15 Pro. Yes, software locking is a thing and it sucks, but iPhone 15 got all the things that 14 would have had software wise, and then some. Yeah, so but the 15 series as a whole, the whole thing for the series is absolutely S tier, the biggest win of the year, and in Apple's thing and in all tech, consumer tech this year. Worst thing, I think I actually have to give it to Apple as well, because this did happen this year. This is the bomb of the year. 2024 Mac Pro. Why? Why? And you're going.
Was that this year?
That was this year. That was that dub. You are gonna pay. You are gonna pay all this.
My memory that bad?
Yeah, it is. You need an iPhone 15.
It was a gas leak year.
I swear.
He had a gas leak.
I was like, I swear that was last year, wasn't it?
No. I'll wait.
Crap, you're right.
I know. That's how.
Wait.
That's how terrible it was that you don't even remember it happening this
My
year.
mind blocked it out.
That's how bad it was. That's the fell of the year. That's the big bomb. That's the worst of the year.
It
goes
wasn't.
Right, because people were looking forward to that for so long. We were talking about that since the dawn of the Mac transition. I remember in 2018 they were like, imagine if Apple Silicon was on the scale of a Mac Pro, how good it would be. And it was just an M2 Ultra in the same exact design.
Yeah. It's such a bomb.
They couldn't even make it smaller.
Where's
that's they did. The Studio.
Yeah, the Studio is one of my runner-ups for best things of the year. They kept it around. Holy crap. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, we thought they were going to kill it,
Yeah.
huh? That was a concern for
Mac
a while.
Mini and Studio got revitalized this year, and I'm here for it. It is absolutely the biggest win, but it is not. It's like those are my second place, like honorable mentions. Is Mac Studio, Mac Mini, but for Tech, iPhone obviously is the best thing. But the biggest bomb, I have to give it to Apple over the other, the competition from Samsung or Pixel. I thought about Pixel for a second, but I don't know enough to give it a proper rating. But the biggest fumble of the year is Mac Pro. I'm not saying anything about Vision Pro because it's not out yet. It doesn't count. I will wait until we can actually like see that
Okay,
stuff. So yeah, announcements don't count.
fair
Car
enough.
next gen CarPlay, like announcements don't count. We need to see it. So there you go.
Yeah, what happened to that? It's the next AirPower, huh? Mm,
It's a good thing the
okay.
GM
So
vehicles aren't getting
Mike,
it.
we can we can
Zero
assure that.
disappointment.
Drew's gonna say the
Man, let me
biggest
think.
fail, just to mix it up, besides Mac, his biggest fail is the Apple Watch, 100%.
Mm.
Yeah, that was on my list. I was up for consideration, trying to think of anything
I'd
else
say to buy you
was
some time, Drew, while
fail
you're thinking
worthy.
about it. A special mention, at least on my end, is probably the MetaQuest 3, just because it's
Mm,
somehow launched pretty quickly in response. Maybe not in response, but at least it has features that pretty much feel like it's responding to Vision Pro. And it also
definitely.
comes now with ability to do xCloud and Steam uh, cross-platform gaming. So you're able to use it for Xbox gaming or Steam gaming with your headset, which I think is very valuable for those that want that capability or accessibility towards that. And along with that, still delivers on a whole bunch of other stuff with higher fidelity and all that. So nice special mention.
All right. Honorable mention to the worst product, since I gave honorable mention to the best. The new USB-C Apple Pencil. What the hell was that? No, that's terrible.
That was weird. I don't think I would say worst. It was a little bizarre, but I thought it got more hate than it
It's
deserved
up there
because
with the iPhone
after
14 yellow.
Like I said
after
before,
6 years, 7 years,
okay.
8 years, we finally got a cheaper Apple Pencil.
Yeah, but
Is it what you wanted?
nah, it's they
It's
purposely.
I think it's better than the first
Oh
gen
yeah, yeah.
pencil.
We don't talk about first gen. That doesn't count.
No, no, no.
Yeah, I'm close to giving Series 9 worst Apple product of the year, but it's up there with
Wow, what a turnaround.
didn't we get didn't we get new iPads? No, there were no iPads this year.
No
Okay, yeah,
iPads.
never mind. That solidifies my
That's the best.
that solidifies my decision. I was gonna say if there was an iPad this year, that's up for worst product, but there weren't any, so I guess there you have it. Apple Watch Series 9 was so bad it made me sell my Apple Watch Series 7.
What's your best of the year?
Ooh, best of the year. I was close to saying Vision Pro, but then I heard you say
It's not out
that
yet. It
shouldn't
doesn't
count
count.
because it's just an announcement, and
Mm-mm.
I think that's a fair requirement. It has to be a product that launched. And while I do really love the iPhone 15 series, man, what else came out this year? I guess the M2, the Mac Studio was really cool. The MacBook Air finally got a larger variant. That was neat.
That was
Touch
Um,
bars
awesome.
killed off.
I was the touch bar finally died. I was pleasantly surprised with the new 14-inch MacBook Pro, although I know nobody agrees with me. Everybody was angry about the RAM, but I was just happy there was a cheap way to get ProMotion and mini LED on a laptop.
Yeah.
I thought that was neat, but um
His win of the
what
year is
else?
the HomePods making a comeback.
Oh yeah, that was this year, wasn't
That
it?
was
I'm
his,
trying to think back everything that got announced. Oh
HomePods.
man.
Yeah, HomePods is. I think that's.
Oh, another one. Another runner-up, an honorable mention for worst of the year was the iMac. That was such a joke of a refresh after that much time waiting around, and they still didn't even update the the Magic Mouse
That
and
was a
Magic
disappointment.
Keyboard
I agree.
after already switching the iPhone to Type C, keeping Mac accessories on Lightning was just pitiful and religiously offensive,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Blasphemy.
Jeez. Since Apple is a religion, according
Blasphemy.
to you.
We got 2 different MacBook Pro refreshes this year. That's right. We got
Yeah,
M2 and
yeah.
M3
Mac
with
Air and Pro and uh
no new Mac Minis this year. But
Mac Mini came out.
yeah, I'm grasping at straws here. I gotta hand it to it. I know it's redundant, but iPhone 15 series
Thank
was
you.
by
You
far the
guys,
most
there
It's
you
okay
go.
to
It's
agree.
okay.
interesting.
It's okay to
I
it's okay to
agree
be
that
right.
we I'll say the Pro
There you go.
because
The action button.
we got
It's okay to be wrong too, Drew.
we got the action button. We got ProMotion here. We've got a high-speed USB-C port. We got log. We got 3 nanometer. We got ray tracing on the iPhone before the Mac.
I don't even know
How
what that
hilarious
means,
is
but
that?
heck
It's
yeah.
becoming more gaming friendly. Though you don't
We
do
should
gaming.
celebrate after all these years of fighting and arguing and hoping, wondering, will Apple keep Lightning? Will they go portless? We finally got it, and that should be celebrated as a major victory. We finally got Type C on an iPhone, which many have said and even bet that would never
I heard
happen.
somebody lost a nut.
That's very true, and I'm so glad. I'm so thankful that happened.
That they lost a nut.
An honorable mention: the Pixel 8.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Since I'm
There we
tipping
go.
off Randy.
I needed to hear you say it. I knew that he's gonna bring up the Pixel. But you know what?
We got an Android phone promising 7 years of software support.
Promises
that
are
ever
like
happen?
buttholes. They all stink. Hi, Mike.
Mike just
No,
gets really
honestly,
funny.
okay. If I'm to drop the facade for a minute, just watching you,
Ooh.
he's got something.
I'm like, is Randy about to say something nice
Oh.
about an Android phone?
Oh,
Drew got excited.
I got excited. Watching your synopsis of the Pixel made me not want to get one, but it made me appreciate. I don't think I actually like took time to actually acknowledge how far Android has came along, and watching Google, and I say Android as in stock Android, watching Google go from
Mhm.
the very first Pixel and trying to find its identity and fumbles along the way. There is something I like about a vertical integration as well, just like Apple, and having its own little ecosystem. And Google has done well. We rag on them for killing off products or services and prematurely not giving things a chance to breathe. But through all of that, just because they're doing something different from Apple doesn't make it any less important. They have advanced AI in a way with computational photography. They have advanced AI in the search algorithms. They've done a lot that has to do with software based, and they found a way. How can we make the software that we're trying to nurture and grow and become the best that it can be for us? How can we make that fit into products? And watching your interactions with the iPhone 8 made me realize that it's not as
Pixel 8.
clunky. It's
His brain's still autocorrect.
sorry, yeah. It's hard to give a compliment.
I'm like, no way Drew went all the way down to the iPhone 8, did he?
Wait, it was my brain. It's hard to compliment. But Pixel 8, it's not clunky, and it has come a long way. And if it's all about like choosing what ecosystem you want to be a part of, and that's all it is, there is a strong case for Android now because the smartphone community that sector of tech has matured so well that you can't really go wrong. It's just what flavor, what outfit, whatever, like it's how it's presented at that point. And um at the end of the day, Apple and Google and Samsung, they're all still copying from each other in many aspects, and that just makes everybody kind of like win at the end, even if it's a year or two behind. We all got USB-C now in one way, so that's great. And there are things that you like about the Pixel, whether it's the camera layout or just some things that are just a little bit more common sense. Um, it doesn't hurt anybody. So I will be paying more attention in 2024 on the Android side, just as observing all the stuff they do, and I'm not going to be as like, that's stupid. I'm going to rep my team. So at the end of the day, you know where I'm at, but I'm hoping everybody wins because then we all kind of win in that sense. So there you go.
Wow. Randy
Cool.
actually said some nice
Fair
things
enough.
about the Pixel 8.
I feel so gross.
You heard it here, folks.
I feel so gross.
What a weird finale. What a gut wrenching
Plot twist.
conclusion to the year. Is there any final words before we head into the new year?
I would like to say thank you for everyone's patience this year with us in the podcast, especially with the creative choices that we made and also the delays slash lack of episodes for certain weeks. But we appreciate you sticking with us for the whole year. And if you didn't, thanks for at least listening to this one. And we'll try to do better next year. I think things will hopefully be a lot more solid for at least Randy and I suppose. And maybe Drew will be the one that will be a little bit more sporadic. But maybe we'll be on more solid ground next year. And I think that's at least my resolution is stability.
I predict we will be doing a podcast in person sometime next year. I have this in my crystal ball of a brain.
Yes.
I predict there will be an
We
in-person.
need to make that
It's
happen.
been too long since one.
I
Mhm.
I think
suspect
the last one was Drew was at my place and we were sitting on a piano bench.
And then Mike and I hung out this year,
Yeah.
and we didn't document, I don't think, a darn thing, but we were together.
We just
So,
enjoyed the moment.
We just lived in the moment, and I was crippled as heck.
How
but,
dare you?
Yeah, I know.
Why didn't you ignore your families and talk about the news?
Because my hands were on crutches the whole time.
I was calling him old
Oh,
man
yeah.
and pointing and laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, how about you, Randy? Anything to end on?
Good hustle behind the scenes. That's just round of applause for us three. That a lot of people don't understand the work that goes into trying to make this happen, and how many dead episodes there are out there for one reason or another that we were like, man, these are great episodes and they'll never see the light of day. And through all the technical difficulties, we persevered, and we still like, well, we'll regroup and we'll make it work for next week. And this has been a year for hiccups and adjustments. Me as a new dad, and now I'm about to move, but I will be more situated and established. I don't all that happening. I don't mind how this year turned out because you got to do so much traveling this year, and so did Mike, and I got to do a lot of I didn't travel as much, but I explored a lot. This was not a bad year. This was a growth year for me, and I still like when I look back and I take any episode of the year of 2024, I will be able to be like, I know where I was at this moment in headspace, whether it was from the Fitness Plus journey or what. Like I will, there are things that I'm highlighting about. I appreciate a lot that happened this year. So, given all the groundwork that we were trying to make happen this year, and it just lots of didn't pull through, only gives me that much more optimism of what's to come next year and into the future. So, congratulations to all of us for finding a way to make this work. The schedules have every week. The schedules have not been easy, and if it looks like it's easy because we just turn on a camera and talk and then that's that, then that goes to show how much work has put into it, because I promise you almost every week it is not easy, and a lot of weeks things didn't come out because of it, but we did not give up. It's easy to quit, get overworked or burnt out and be like, I don't want to do this, I don't want whatever, and we still, because our commitment, yeah, I like the base of the purpose of this podcast is more, it's more presented in a way of like, friend, how would we talk if we were all sitting at a table together, which we have done, and we're talking the exact same way. And I like that ethos, and I like that purpose of the show. And because of that, that's why it doesn't change. It's just how can we execute it in a way that is properly documented and given to other people who want to be a part of those conversations. So for everyone else listening, I know we're not the biggest tech podcast, but that never mattered to us. It was the passion behind all of it. I read almost every comment, whether I get to reply or whatever. I see all the comments, and I appreciate everybody. Riley for the timestamps. I mean, I could go down the list, but the point is that like I like what we have here. That still doesn't change, no matter how at the end of the day these things are executed. I'm still very much proud of what we've done all these years.
Good. All right. Well said, you guys. And happy holidays to everybody. And hopefully, we'll have a few more weeks of news to recap when we get back, and some new artwork across everything.
Oh my!
So we'll be
Wait and see.
We'll be looking very different. Bye, all.
Bye.
Bye.